Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today we're going to be making a second recipe from Dory Greenspan's Around My French Table, and we're going to be making the recipe that's on the cover. So this is called Chicken in a Pot, the garlic and lemon version. So this is cooked in a Dutch oven, basically. In France they would call it a casserole. Here in the United States, we would call something else a casserole, but whatever. And there are a lot of steps to this, but in the end, we just throw it in the oven and cook it. But the first thing I need to do is to basically blanch this preserved lemon peel. I cut it into small squares, basically. We have made preserved lemon before on this channel, and I will link that up there. This is not from that. This is a store-bought kind. You can buy them in the store. And it's just sort of the outer peel. Sliced it using a paring knife. It was actually a lot easier than I expected, and cut it into small squares. In this pot, I have measured out the amount of sugar, and I'm going to put some water in here. And then we're going to bring this to a boil and boil it for 1 minute. I don't know why we're doing this. Doesn't really say. I assume we're going to be taking some of the salt out, sweetening it up a little bit because there's sugar. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just waiting for it to come to a boil, and then I'm going to throw this in, like I said, 1 minute. And then we're going to drain it. So I'm just going to drain it through a little colander into the sink because I don't need whatever that water is anymore. While we're doing that, I'm going to talk about our other ingredients while I'm waiting for that to come to a boil and get all done. We have a chicken. Mine's probably a little bit larger than the one she calls for, but not by too much. You can use chicken pieces. You can use it cut up. We're just going to throw the whole thing in there. I think that will be beautiful, and that was what I wanted to make anyway. There are several other recipes for like roast chicken in here, but I decided I was interested in the one on the cover, so I went ahead and decided I would do this. I had just about everything I needed for it, so no big deal. In here, I have some potatoes that I've peeled and cut into relatively large pieces. I have a sweet potato. Mine happened to be purple. And then I have some white potatoes. Since I didn't have enough of the sweet potatoes, she says you can also use white potatoes if you prefer. Mine are actually Yukon Golds. Whatever. It'll be fine. Here I have some carrots. There are quite a lot of carrots in this pot. Not all of mine are orange. Some of them are, one of them is purple. This was actually one carrot that kind of had like 4 different shoots, 3 or 4 different shoots off of it. And those have been peeled and quartered roughly. Some of them are much larger than others. We'll see how that goes. But if it doesn't all fit, these are the first things that are going to go because there's a lot of them. We also have some celery, again, trimmed, quartered. It was the last of this celery, so might be a few more pieces than it says, but it's fine. This is what my lemon peel looks like now. I'm just going to drain it and set it aside for later. We also have a lot of garlic here. This has been, I think this is sort of a take on a chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. That's what like the original, the text before the recipe talks about chicken and 40 cloves and how she's done a lot of different versions of that. This is sort of a version of it. They have been taken sort of apart, but not peeled. Did not request to peel them, which was great because not my favorite thing to do. These are yellow pearl onions. I just tend to like yellow onions. You can use white, yellow, or shallots if you prefer. She said small white onions. I assume she means pearl onions because for like regular onions, the number would be way too many in my opinion. So we have that. I also have some fresh thyme sprigs, some fresh parsley sprigs. I could not get fresh rosemary, so I'm going to use a little bit of dried rosemary. that's it for our ingredients, plus salt and pepper. And some, oh, I also have some white wine and some chicken broth. Now, let me turn the page. What we're going to do now is brown these vegetables, maybe in batches, we'll see, in a large skillet, not in the pan we're going to be using to cook this, in olive oil over high heat. So we're just trying to, and we're going to salt and pepper them. I'm not going to show you that so much because really, I mean, I'm not going to be talking. We might bring the camera over just so you can take a quick look, but it's really very boring and I might have to do it in batches. We'll see. But we're going to put the vegetables and the garlic. So the onions, the garlic, and all of the vegetables that I just talked to you about are going to be browned with salt and pepper and brown on all sides. So we'll see how long that takes. So the vegetables have all been kind of browned. The bottom of my pan got pretty black, so I cleaned that up a little bit as much as I could because we still have to brown the chicken in that pan. But first we're going to add our lemon peel, our preserved lemon peel, and our herbs. So I've got this parsley and some thyme. And since I don't have rosemary sprigs, I'm just going to put some dry in kind of by feel and it'll be fine. And we're going to kind of stir that in, get these all mixed up. And I'm starting to question whether my chicken is going to fit, but that's okay. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I think we can probably make it fit. I don't know. We're trusting the process. But now I have to go back to my pan and brown the chicken sort of on all sides in more olive oil. I'm going to go a little bit lower than the high heat, but we'll see, and season it with salt and pepper as it cooks. So, yeah, and then we'll come back and try to make it fit. My chicken is kind of browned on all sides. I'm going to take some of these vegetables out of here just so I can get it nestled in there like I feel it should be. And then I'll put them back in around it. Especially these big pieces. I don't know if the vegetables in France are smaller than the ones we have here, but you know, she called for large sweet potatoes, and like that mine was basically a large sweet potato, so that was a lot. It's a lot of sweet potato. Large pieces too, because she said to cut it into eighths. So now, this is very unwieldy. There we go. So it kind of broke our skin some, but okay. Let's hope we can fit all of this back in here. I think we'll fit it all in. There we go. That's not too bad. We have some dry white wine and some chicken broth. I have some home canned chicken broth that I made a little while ago. Just mix that together. Don't have to heat this up. And pour it over the chicken and vegetables. There we go. And that's all of the ingredients that go in the pot. But if you didn't notice, there's a bit of dough around the pot to keep it all tucked in tightly. It makes it not lose steam. It makes it closed very tightly, and we still have to make that. So let me clean this up and we'll make that next. So I've measured out some all-purpose flour in here, and this is just water, and we're making a dough. And I'm just gonna put enough to make it malleable. Oh, this is hot water too, just hot from the sink though, not like heated. But we're just gonna put enough hot water in, and of course make a huge mess to make a malleable dough. It looks like I'll need at least all of that, if not maybe a little bit more. She says instead of doing this, you can use like store-bought pizza dough, pre-made pizza dough, but that will rise up around it, whereas this will not. I don't think we're meant to eat this part, but oh, now that's pretty sticky. I need the honey. I need the flour. Maybe you put a little too much in there, but that's okay. Yes, all purpose. All right, so I'm going to put some flour down, and we're just going to make this into, like, making a huge mess as always. We're just going to roll this into basically like a snake. This doesn't have to be beautiful. And it's not going to be. And now I have the lid over here, which means I can use that to decide if it's long enough. Not quite. This is the worst dough I have ever made, but that's okay. I don't think we're even eating it. All right. I think that'll probably be good. And now I'm not going to wash my hands because it's just going to get messy again. And now we're going to put this around the top. And just to the point where when this goes on, there we go. It makes basically an airtight seal. That's the goal there. Now this is going to go into my oven, which has been heated to 450 degrees, but it's going to go in there for 55 minutes. Thus the 5 on my brain. So I will take its temperature, when it comes out, when we open it up, but I'm not going to worry about all of that. We're just going to assume it's going to do what it's going to do, and it's going to be the right temperature when it comes out. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. If it doesn't, I'm pretty sure it will be close, and we can probably just close it up for a little while longer and let it come up to temperature. But anyway, 55 minutes. We'll show you what it looks like when it comes out, because I'm looking forward to opening this up on camera. This has been in the oven for 55 minutes at 450 degrees, and we're going to open it. And I'm a little nervous. She says The best tool for this is a screwdriver. I'm just going to use a butter knife because I don't trust any of our screwdrivers on food currently, and I didn't want to wash one. So it's very hot. There we go. Huh. That's pretty cool. So let me take its temperature. That's what we're here for. We are not, in fact, done. My breast is at 126 and the thigh is even lower. So we're going back in the oven, which won't be quite as good of a seal now, but oh well. We're gonna go back in the oven. It might be 15, it might be 30, so we'll check it in 20 minutes. I'm a little disappointed that it's not done, but it was probably a little bit larger than the chicken in the recipe. So also, it wasn't at room temperature because I don't know how long that would have taken anyway. I set it out for a while before we started cooking, but it certainly was not at room temperature at that point. So we'll check it again in about 20 minutes. See you soon. I let my chicken cook for another 20 minutes in the oven, and then it was not quite where I wanted it to be, so I just closed the lid and let it go for a few more minutes. I think we're probably perfectly fine now. Oh yeah. We're at 175 in the breast and then like 180 or so in the thigh. So that's good. We're going to take this out. Let's see how what happens now. See if it'll come out in one piece. There we go. And then carve it up, serve it with the broth and the vegetables, and we've made some bread, and that's going to be our dinner. We'll show you what it looks like and let you know what we think in just a minute. On this episode of Cooking the Books with Heather, you watched me make chicken in a pot, the garlic and lemon version. I have to say, I was a little disappointed. In fact, I still have all of the vegetables in the fridge because I just think the purple sweet potato, which was not, called for in the recipe, but is what I had, made the whole thing look a little unappetizing. The juices turned kind of gray, the broth, which is not great for visuals. And the chicken was a little overcooked. That was my fault. I did have to cook it longer because it was a little bit larger than it calls for, because it's kind of hard to find a smaller whole chicken here. But it did all fit. I probably won't use this method again. I'm really looking forward to a roasted chicken with crispy, delicious skin, which is not what this recipe is. It kind of looks like it would be, but it's not, because it is an enclosed cooking method. You do brown the skin before you put it in there. It was not awful. It was more appetizing than the skin from the previous chicken we'd made, which was in the Instant Pot with apples, which I'll link that here as well, but the meat from that one was great. The flavor on the chicken, the texture on the chicken was great. This one was just a little dry, a little overcooked. All my fault, but I did have to cook it longer. And then I let it sit a little bit too long. Anyway, I did end up using the leftovers for the leftover chicken for some cockaliki soup, which turned out great. So I think this just isn't a recipe for me. So we had a great first experience with Around My French Table. Loved the first recipe we tried. This one, However, there are a couple of other roast chicken recipes in this book that I am really looking forward to, and including, well, this isn't a whole roast chicken, but there's a chicken and apples recipe in here as well, which I am looking forward to trying. That just uses boneless, skinless chicken breasts, which I think, as I said, when I made that other recipe, what would be a great choice for that type of dish. So I'm really looking forward to trying again. Another recipe from this book, another chicken. Oh, I did want to say I did not get any of the lemon, the preserved lemon flavor in this recipe either. So it's just kind of not what I expected. Not for me. If you've tried this and you liked it, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed watching me make this, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and come back and watch me make something else next week.